Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. About to get into game number 2 of this Best of 3 series between Legacy and Direwolves. I'm Matthew Fish Stewart. Joining me is the glassesless Jake Spawn Tiberi.
I mean, you found glasses. I lost mine. There can't be two glassed people on the cast, Fish. That is when the OPL spontaneously combusts. We all fly into a black hole. We don't want that.
I don't quite understand how that works, but all right. I was told I need glasses and I won't have
mate.
600 IQ like Juves, and it's scientifically proven that glasses
Juve
give you
doesn't
600
have
IQ,
glasses, and he has 600 IQ. I think you got this wrong. One thing I wanted to point out that I don't think many people would have caught in that first game is Destiny skilled E and W on his Janna. And the reason that those dashes were able to go through, you know, the fact that Cupcake was able to fly onto him was because he didn't have the Q available. And, you know, maybe that's because, you know, the Braum shield comes up and it can block out and things like that. But I think that gank would have been much easier to mitigate if he had that Q available, that Tornado, and potentially wouldn't have led to such a big snowball coming out of the bottom lane, Fish, because that did cost them pretty massively.
I mean, potentially. We've also seen Janna has been picked quite a lot more recently, because the Q can interrupt a lot of crucial abilities like the Zac jumping or Tristana jumping in it as well. Yeah, so curious to see if Direwolves do change their playstyle in any way now that they're on blue side and after what they've learned from game number 1.
And, you know, maybe I'm wrong and people will tweet at me and tell me I'm idiot. Or maybe, like, this is something that Destiny hasn't had that many reps on the champion. And, I mean, someone like Jake from AV has always played Janna. He's a massive Janna player, and you can tell that when he plays it, he's incredibly comfortable into all the matchups. So maybe Destiny historically, in my mind, hasn't been a Janna player. When I think of Janna, I don't think about Destiny for sure. I think more of the Thresh pickup. And I think that showed, the inexperience definitely showed in that lane.
Speaking of Thresh, that's the first ban that comes out from Legacy in game number 1. Elise and Trundle are quick to follow. Trundle has been rising in popularity internationally due to the tank mid of Resurgence. Jace, Kalista, and Xayah banned up by Direwolves. That gives them the first pick of Zac.
Yeah, it certainly does. I mean, Legacy will probably be happy to let this one go over. They can just take Maokai. In my mind, Maokai is kind of good Zac at the moment. Certainly is very difficult to deal with, has point-and-click CC, as well as the fact that saplings clear actually really quickly, Fish. So I like Maokai over Zac at the moment.
We've seen some unique clears from Maokai, taking 2 buffs at level 1.
Yep.
Global presence of the sapling still can hurt.
Big fan.
Let's see how Legacy use it in this match. We have seen it
this
from
is the
top lane as well.
special. If they lock in Sivir,
they've
this
done
is
it.
the ultimate we can't win the lane pick. Like, that is what Sivir is famous for. Like, we cannot win this lane. We are going to push it out once we get BF Sword. We are no longer going for kills. This is a nullified lane.
And it's another champion. When tank meta is popular, you can always expect a Sivir in the mix. Picked up by Direwolves very early on. Tristana locking again for Lost.
And the reason that Sivir struggles so hard in lane is she's good at attacking creeps, but she's bad at hitting champions. So generally, the way Sivir's win lane is by making things like Tristana, like Caitlyn, play against creep waves. You have to push out the creep wave before you get access to Sivir. Unfortunately for Sivir, she has like 210 range or something. I think it's 500. One of the shortest attack damage carry ranges in the game, which puts her in harm's way when she tries to get access to that creep wave, Fish. So we'll see how this works out as it goes on. As you said, team fight utility, spell shield, AoE crits, big 3-item power spikes. Everything else is there for Sivir. She's my favorite champion in League of Legends, but she's just not a great laner at the moment.
However, for the side of Legacy, Tristana starts with 550-something range thanks to her passive, and that only gets bigger and bigger as the game goes on. But Sivir can still push her in.
Certainly can, and that's what it is. Make them play against the creep wave. Like, stop killing me, just hit the damn creeps. That's kind of what Sivir makes you do. Got hotfixed recently because she got pushed over the edge with a little bit of a buff on next patch. However, Jish does always like me to talk about it. There is a win condition on Sivir that not many people know about. It's a 550 CS win condition. It's beaten only by the 550 CS Ashe win condition. Pretty much as soon as you're allowed to sell your boots, you win on Sivir automatically because she hits everyone with her crits. Because Ricochet is AoE, there's not going to be a Braum in this game. So Sivir's crits, late game when she gets 100% crit, will fly through the whole team. So if you hit tanks, it still hits carries. Which
is curious because Legacy have opted in for the Taric support pick here, giving them a brief moment of invulnerability in team fights. They've gone for Gragas.
Great against Zac, I think, Taric.
True. They've gone for a Gragas pick during their first pick in the second rotation. Castan and Janna were the 2 bans. Orianna, Cassiopeia, taken away by Direwolves.
Ooh, Orianna ban. That's really a peculiar Fish. I mean, Claire certainly looks good on it, but still has, you know, some assassins that he can play in the mid lane, and they're going to have to blind pick one here.
Ooh, and Braum is the pick from the Direwolves. This lane, It's going to be
a short range raid. Like, this lane has no range behind it at all, Fish.
I mean, if I'm not wrong, Taric also does well into Braum almost.
Yep. Certainly does. Stun really messes with his day.
The final pick from Direwolves should come out now. That will be Fantic's pick of the mid lane after a very early Gnar pick from the Direwolves. It could be. Will he do it? Doesn't seem like it. He continues his streak of Corki plays after flashing Talon briefly. Player now has whatever pick he'd like into this mid lane matchup.
I think the Gnar makes a lot of sense here. So I'm looking at like kind of what this comp is. It's got hints of 1-3-1. You can park Sivir mid lane. She just wave clears for day. We've already talked about that. It's very hard to kill a Sivir. And then they can send, you know, Corki, Gnar into the 2 side lanes. They can shove up. But they also have a much better teamfight collapse coming out. Syndra pickup means he's probably going to have to buy a Hex Drinker on the Corki. And Clay's a pretty good Syndra player, like one of his best champions still.
Yeah, it also forces him to pick up Cleanse into the matchup, you have to assume, which delays Corki's power spike.
You can take Exhaust into Syndra.
True. But he doesn't. Once again, proving Jake Spawn to be wrong here. Unlucky.
Exactly right. But pretty much the golden rule is if you take Exhaust and she ever QWs, you can just Valk on her and exhaust her and try and kill her before she gets that back up and available.
Well, you definitely know that next week's War Room is going to be about Exhaust Corki.
Nah, it's not.
Brought to you by Jake Spawn to be.
See, the funny thing is like when I'm on cast, no one can tell me what to talk about. As soon as it goes to a pre-recorded segment, like they were like, oh yeah, like we'll do this War Room segment. I'm like, great, I want to do this. And they're like, we're just never putting that to air if that's what you talk about. So unfortunately, I have to listen to my producers and directors when that happens. But at the same time, they're not here right now, guys, so I get to talk more about Corki.
Yeah, they can mute your microphone, though. They've done it to me
no, so that is up to our sound guy. And I'll have you know that me and Richard Chow, we go way back. He's not going to mute anything.
Wait, so he muted me. I thought that was Benji. I'm a little bit disappointed now. Unlucky, really. But we're about to get into game number 2 of this best of 3 series.
And like, I mean, more 5v5 comps coming out of both teams, I think it's fair to say. This time around, Direwolves have a much better 5v5 comp. Jack, of course, we keep mentioning it, but needs like 3-4 items before it can really tango in those team fights. And I think, you know, the Gnar's going to get there earlier. Although, depends if he goes Mallet into Cleaver. That's still 2 or 3 items before he can team fight successfully.
I mean, Mallet into Cleaver, he does well in Mini Gnar, and then he has the big burst in Mega, but after that, he just gets blown up.
Exactly right. I mean, he's much more of a split pusher, much more of a nuisance, like kind of a Teemo-esque. And has much more damage in team fights, but does need, you know, a stone plate or something to allow him to really be that tank.
Well, let's see how it goes. Legacy have mixed things up. This time it's Maokai in the top lane with Gragas in the jungle. But for now, let's check in with Serianne again as she's standing by with the coach of Direwolves, Sharp.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Sharp from the Direwolves. I just quickly want to talk about the last game because Spawn said that Destiny leveled the W and E on Janna first. Are you across this, and was there a specific reason behind it?
Yeah, I actually wasn't aware of that. I wasn't really paying attention to that, so I'll have to ask Destiny later about that. Yeah.
Fair enough. Onto this game, you've picked Sivir as the ADC. Did you pick this because you're not feeling too particularly confident in the bottom lane?
Nah, well, Sivir's actually known as a really good pick into Tristana, something that we've been playing all week, so kind of happy to have the opportunity to pull it out. So yeah, looking forward to this game.
And what are your win conditions heading into this game?
Well, we have quite a hard engaged comp. We have Zac, Sivir, with follow-up. Corki has really good follow-up as well, and Gnar, obviously with like Mega Gnar as well. So really comes down to execution and how well we can pull off the hard engage. It would be really important that we play around cooldowns. But yeah, it really does come down to execution.
Well, best of luck with the game, Sharp, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
You've dobbed them in, Spawn. The coach didn't even know he leveled W second, sorry. Now he's going to, you know, cop a lot of flack later on tonight.
Oh, Shern's in trouble. Let's talk about something else.
Oh, Claire is going to be able to pick up a couple.
Only one.
So that's not going to stop level 2. And in return, Fantix just styles on him with the auto attacks.
Certainly does. Claire takes a lot of damage. I also want to point out the fact that Tally and Carbon swap champions. I thought it was going to be a Maokai jungle again. Fish, you don't sound all that impressed, but when you pick the same two champions and then send them into different roles, I think that's something worth talking about.
And I'm curious to see why that is. It could be the matchup against Gnar, or potentially how Gragas interacts with the jump from Zac.
Yeah,
interrupt that.
That's a good point, being able to beat him around the jungle. Of course, Q does the same thing from Maokai, to my knowledge. A little bit harder to hit.
Land. Has to be right next to the champion.
Or he just needs to be flying towards you. I don't know.
On his body, Bob. Every part of that ability knocks you back.
Come on, mate.
Only the start of the slam does. But mid lane has gone so well for Fantix so far. After the initial bop at level 1, forced a single biscuit out of Claire. Fantix has popped his last one, though. Let's see if this helps him out through the early laning phase.
And I'm really interested about this good lane matchup for Sivir. Because right now, Sivir's under the turret. So I don't know if I agree with Sharp. I definitely, I think Sharp's one of the best coaches. I got to work with him with Origin. And I've spoken about it a lot, Fish. It was one of the best experiences I've had. But I don't see how this is a victory.
I mean, early on, Sivir always gets pushed in, but her wave clear just does this. She's going to hold it off the turret.
Yep, correct.
But is down in CS at the moment, so Lost and Cupcake doing well.
As I said, she's not really going to die. Sivir, you have to make a mistake on Sivir to die. She's got a spell shield to be able to, get rid of the stun of turret. But this is the issue. If you give people access to your turret, you'll eventually lose a lot of health. And chip damage has become a recent thing in League of Legends, for about maybe the last year and a half it's really been talked about. But giving people access to your turret over and over again can cost you the game. Shern, however, going for an early gank on the Zac. Only level 3. Carbon's still hard farming.
It's going to charge it up. Let's see what Claire does. Will avoid the jump, but the knockback going to come through, send him back into Fantix. Good knockback from Claire, though. Make sure he doesn't have to burn any summoners.
I mean, will mean that Fantix forces him out of lane. Looks like a pretty neutral wave right now. And you can see Carbon going to take the opportunity now to go for a gank onto Chippies. He was about to go Mega, but Carbon walked over a ward, Fish.
So spotted out. Claire's going to rotate back into the mid lane, not being heavily pushed in by Fantix, but has acquired a nice CS lead for himself.
Claire, however, with the swag purchase, goes back, grabs himself a Dark Seal, as well as a refillable potion. One of the better purchases, if you have 500 gold and you feel like you've been shoved out of lane, gives you the additional sustain that you're going to need, as well as the fact that if you get some sneaky kills, just to feel good.
It certainly is. Carbon tried to wrap around there and get back into this lane, but Chippies has placed another ward down, this time closer in the rivers to spot that out.
Yeah, I don't think anyone will really be surprised with how well Chippies plays around ganks. When you play as aggressively as Chippies, you've had years of solo queue experience of being camped. And it was a tactic that, famously Chiefs used to get into him as well. They used to pick tanks as well as aggressive jungler and camp out Chippies. So I think that, he's well and truly used to it. He's figured out how to ward for it very well and keep himself nice and safe. And you can see playing the lane, pulls the creeps back off, trying to be a complete nuisance towards Tally. He's already got a 10 CS lead. And Tally's going to have to burn his TP to get back into this wave.
Yeah, with the lane in a very unfavorable position as well for the top lane.
Well, he's going to walk it back, it looks like. So it was going to push back up. I mean, when you only keep the 3 range creeps, it does push back into you. Kind of just how League of Legends works at the moment. You can see King and Destiny, they have equalized the CS score, and they are starting to push back in.
And this has just been, at most, a neutralized lane at the moment. Legacy have not looked like they have had any kill threats so far.
And this is what I said. I mean, the reason that lots of people used to play Sivir is because of how good she was in teamfights and how hard it was to push her out of lane. I'm not saying it was a bad pick. I'm just saying this is we're not going to be able to, 2v2 kill you. So we're going to look to neutralize a lane and outscale. And there's nothing wrong with that strategy.
Yep.
And that looks like what it is right now. They don't look like they're interacting with each other at all.
Especially when you have a 51 to 35 CS top laner and a mid lane that has gone incredibly well for Fantix early. Yep. He's picked up the components of his Hex Drinker.
Yeah, interesting that he still went with it, right? Even though he feels like he's got a lead. Still goes towards Hex Drinker, just doesn't want to get one shot and give the lane back over. And I mean, look how annoying this is for Lost to deal with. He's throwing satchels and things onto the wave, trying to push it out, but at the same time, it's still pretty neutral. Big convergence on this mid lane. You can see that Cupcake left and Carbon is in the area, as well as Shernfire right now.
Good damage, and here comes Tally as well, rotating down. Shernfire will spot this out. Sending pings his way, but now Claire's definitely in danger zone. Flashes away very early, still gets tagged and knocked back, but Carbon is close by to keep him healthy.
Yep.
Goes in just for a bit of damage, but good gank. Summoner spell burnt by the immobile mid laner.
Carbon, of course, always likes to have presence in the lane, this time on the Santa Gragas as opposed to the Christmas tree Maokai. But he's just a festive bloke.
No, he's a Christmas one trick in the jungle. Nunu, Maokai, Gragas only. No Christmas screen, no playtime, Mr. Soul Strikes.
Shern looking for an invade here. Both junglers have smite, so we'll see the first real test of the
but
Trigger fingers.
Shenfai does have Fog of War. Carbon with the spider senses. Pulls it back a bit, still gets jumped on here. Shenfai takes it away. He's now just going to auto-attack him out of the jungle. Carbon forced the body bop. Oh, rubber hands. No Raptors to hit. And a good move from Shenfai. Takes away a buff, then slows down Carbon's jungle. And the solo laners aren't getting any better for Legacy at the moment.
Yeah, exactly right. They're starting to fall behind, and this is what Direwolves like to do. They like to put the screws on you, so all of a sudden they dive in bottom.
Yep, King will be able to dodge out the stun, which is another big part of the Sivir kick. As soon as you only have one ability, you have to spell shield, it gets much easier.
Certainly does. And you can see that they just walk away. Still a 10 CS lead. Probably will be equalized a little bit on this wave as they look to clean this one out, Fish. But you can see a little bit of frustration. When you're rocket jumping forward, you're looking to get aggressive and you're not really even getting all that much damage down. Not a good news story for Legacy.
It certainly is not. Owls have controlled this bottom lane. They've got great solo lane advantages, as well as Shenfai getting a slight lead in the jungle. So slowly going in their favor. But it's only about 500 gold in natural advantages so far, so Legacy aren't out of the game just yet.
And I'm trying to think about how these late game team fights interact, because I feel like we're inevitably heading towards at least a pretty even early game. Legacy are going to bleed a little bit, but it's unlike Legacy's laners in Claire as well as Tally to fall down, massive amounts of CS. They should start stabilizing a little bit now. And Gragas and Maokai are much easier to execute upon than I would say a Mega Gnar is. Mega Gnar famously is either, he's going to dominate team fights if you're a very good Gnar player. Someone like Koro was at MSI 2015. Was probably the most famous Mega Gnar I can think of. Or sometimes, you have players that are pretty famously mini Gnar players and don't really have that great of a Gnar play. See whether Chippy can get into these team fights, because I think a lot of the team fight success will hinge on how well he can play them.
He's done well in the laney phase so far against Tally's Maokai. This is a boomerang there, so his Q is not going to be back up for some time. And Shenfai finally makes his way into the bottom lane. Good initiation onto Lost. He flashes very early, and a vulnerability is being popped by Cupcake. Is it enough, though? Because Lost has been bounced back into the team. No flash available. Does have heal. Finally uses it, and here comes Carbon trying to save Lost. Very low. Does get knocked back. Great save coming out from Santa.
Yeah, and they actually don't even burn Carbon's flash. Now Claire and Fantix, so they've swapped sides of the map, haven't they?
Yeah, Claire's going to try and fight him. Throws out the ultimate. That's the Hex trigger being popped. Doesn't get the stun. Great Valk coming out from Fantix.
Yeah, Fantix actually cleansed nothing as well there. Maybe the slow, you could argue, but still nice little 1v1. And Carbon now with flash without ulti looking to get involved. I think he's actually in vision nearly. A little bit too close there. He stepped back now. And you can see that everyone just backs away, but good force on the bottom lane from Direwolves. Does get the summoner spells out. As you can see, King still retains his. But Carbon was good enough to nullify that.
Big save coming out from Carbon.
That was a huge play from the boss.
Whew. Santa really delivered with his presence this year. Lost has been a good boy.
What do you want for Christmas this year, Fish?
I have no idea.
It's a while away still.
Maybe more Santa skins. They'd be nice. Then I can imitate the boss himself.
Yeah, we normally get some Snowdown skins. Don't normally get all that many Santa ones anymore.
Makes me sad. We need to, increase Carbon's champion pool somehow. Give him like a Santa Rengar. You'd be, perfect. Done. Ready for the assassin meta, which will come back in the next few patches or something.
Do you know what I want? Have you seen the Tibbers onesie?
Yep.
I want that. Because I'm freezing at the moment, and I know next winter is going to be just as bad. So,
do you want to wear a Tibbers onesie on broadcast? You can wear a three-piece suit.
No, I don't mean on broadcast. I mean when I'm at home. People will know that I've been playing League of Legends with those fingerless gloves, and that's not working out for me at all. So yeah, Tibbers onesie for the PC room. My house would be fantastic, Fish.
I've seen you. You wear like your hoodie, your scarf. You've got a jacket on, and it's like 26 degrees in there. I don't know.
It is not 26 degrees at all.
It's like 26 degrees in here as well, and you're still shivering.
In the words of Jews, we all live in igloos. They are cold.
What?
Jews reckons his house is very cold as well. He blames Rogue. Good stun here out of Claire.
Good damage. Fantix getting down fairly low. Does have Hex Trigger back up, though. This lane has definitely started to swing back in Claire's favor, but a 20 CS lead has been acquired by the Corki.
Yeah, but that's where you kind of expect it to park for a little bit, Fish. As I said, oh, good stun though.
Yeah, will Carbon go in? He's looking for the flash body bot. There is a flash fail with Fantasy. Doesn't flash it. A good ultimate being thrown out by Carbon. He lives with next to nothing left.
I think it was 47 health that he lived on, so one more sphere would have done the trick. Big dive coming in bottom lane now. Jern.
Yeah, he does get the double knockback, and Destiny jumps in for something, but that turret, big deterrent there for Legacy.
Yeah, it was a deterrent, but they didn't really take that much damage from it. I mean, they were pretty much full health when they left. Much bigger commitment coming out of Carbon. He used Flash Body Slam ultimate combo. You can also see that Chippy's rotated into the mid lane as the Corki was going back, potentially looking for a dragon setup or just wanted to catch the wave. That has given Tally a little bit more free time top lane to be able to shove that one out. Teleport available for Chippies, but not for Tally, interestingly enough, Fishery.
Yep. And slowly this game is starting to look like Legacy about to pull back some of the advantage that was taken away by the Merly.
That's annoying. Just slow, if anything. Will maybe cost him an extra creep. Never like that. By the way, if I don't get a Tibbers onesie for Christmas off you now, we are, our relationship will be on the rocks.
I'm getting one for myself first, Tibbers. Ooh. Annie's the best champion in this game.
Yeah, but I'm not asking for an Annie onesie. I'm asking for the Tibbers. And my last name is Tiberi, mate.
That'd be great, an Annie onesie.
Yeah, you could wear the Annie onesie. I would wear the Tibbers onesie. You still owe us cosplay for losing the tipping contest, by the way.
That's true. I was going to go as a Tibbers cosplay, just buying the onesie and, you know, cheating my way out of that.
Yeah, I got told that, yeah, purchasing doesn't count.
Can I do a Hingers cosplay? That'd be fun.
Yeah, you can do a Higgins cosplay.
Cosplay as Michael Hingers Hing. Get a glasses, you know, get the beat going.
Chippies goes aggressive here. Knocks him into the wall.
He's angry spawned! Oh no!
Here
Comes another guy. Now it's actual fight.
I don't even know if it was actually a fight. He probably could have continued to walk out of that. Mini-Nah is more of a threat right now. Carbon walks back into vision.
And this has been a very quiet game now. Gold is completely equalized again by Legacy. Yeah. Slowly these lanes are about to swing back.
I don't know how Gold is equalized.Maybe Legacy get more melee crepes.
Potentially.
Like, that's all I can think of, because every single lane is, like, up massively.
That's a 300 lead top. Carbon's got a 300 lead for himself. 300 lead in the mid lane. It's a Cupcake. Slightly ahead as well. 100 gold. Shownfire delivers red buff deeper into the jungle. He's not happy about that. He's going to reset. Lost his patience.
Junglers and Zac ults, man. I don't know what it is. Actually, we have Juves on the desk. King I know you're listening to this because it's your job. Ask Juves what it is with OPL junglers and Zac ulti. Like, is it just really that hard? Because we don't see many, like, big Zac ultis in the OPL Fish.
No, we see a lot of bounce backs. Oh, I thought this was old Zac ultis.
Yeah.
This game, though, has been so slow.
That's 15 minutes of absolutely nothing. We could have just given everyone, I mean, one in a little bit items, and they would have, I mean, that's where you start the game, right? So 15 and a half minutes in, no gold separates these two teams.
Farming Simulator 2017.
I would play that. I think farming in League of Legends, when you're not getting harassed, is relaxing.
I mean, a lot of players used to go into custom games and farm 100 CS by 10 minutes, and if they didn't hit that, they restart over again.
No runes, no masteries, no purchase.
Or if they missed one, they'd restart and try to get 100.
Yeah.
I did that once and never tried again. I failed.
We used to, when we first got the LPL over here, which has absolutely nothing to do with the OPL, but we'll still talk about it. We used to spectate live from here. We use feeds now, which is better. But we used to be on like 480 ping Fish, and I used to do that on Aurelia. I used to try and CS on Aurelia on 480 ping. It was a lot of fun.
Oh boy. People already complain about CSing when they're on 40 ping.
Well, we play on like 8 ping, mate. We have no excuse.
I mean, I played on the North American servers for a long time. It was about 220. Then they got increased when they moved the servers to, I believe, Chicago. It was about 260 after that. Ugh.
From Singapore or from Australia?
From Singapore.
Yeah, from Singapore.
Ugh. That was not fun. And I used to main Ezreal. I think that's why I was a bad player.
Yeah, don't blame the ping for that. Ping doesn't change game sense, mate. Ping does not change game sense.
Look, skill shot champions, not great. That's why I picked up Annie afterwards.
I mean,
whew.
Yes and no.
Just hit Tibbers and,
there are some OPL players that played on the North American server and used to main things like Twisted Fate, which, you know, have to pick cards.
I mean, just getting rid of them, you'll be all right. Look at these two. They think they can fight. They're not real brawlers at the moment.
I mean, they took half of each other's health. now that if Carbon comes up. It's probably enough CC to guarantee Chippy's death. Across the board, CS has kind of equalized. Tally doing a much better job now. He's got the Righteous Glory. Mid lane's still a pretty big advantage for Fantix, but everywhere else, pretty equal fish.
We're finally closing the gap spot. You know, we're getting closer to the LCK here, where it's just 20 minutes and nothing, and then 20 minutes of action.
Who was I explaining that to? I was like, you know, every now and again, LCK can be a bit, like, it's obviously high-level League of Legends, but there is relatively little action. As an LPL, OPL commentator, that gets frustrating. So I'm used to higher kill games. Here we go.
Yeah, finally someone's fighting. Claire going to flash away. Good damage on the Fantix, but First Blood's finally been picked up. Carbon throws out the ultimate. Doesn't connect, but Fantix has no way to get out of this one, and Tally gets a kill for himself.
Yeah, I mean, they do burn the teleport as well as the flash and ghost on Claire. And top lane turret actually might go down here for Chippy, so that's a big deal. Cupcake also caught out. Fish
doesn't get caught by the second hand. The second rubber hand, I should say.
What is?
Second
Maybe he has Bandit, and he just wanted to, you know, get a little bit of a 15 cheeky gold, but that's a big deal.
Yep, Chippy's getting top lane outer and still has teleport available.
Yeah, first turret advantage going down. I mean, that's absolutely huge. Plus 50 gold, 650 gold you saw pop up over Chippy's head. He's going to be able to make this hit the turret as well. Probably going to give him majority of the frozen mallet, you have to think, Fishery.
That's a brawl in the bottom lane. Destiny taking some damage, puts up the shield finally. King returning with good damage of his own, but it's just a fight for wards.
Yeah, not the most exciting fight I've ever seen, not going to lie. But I'll take it, because this game has been relatively risk-adverse, Fish.
It's Essence even picked up, though, by King.
Yeah, I mean, cooldown reduction kind of acts on it as attack speed on Sivir because of your W and how it interacts. So you generally want to go Essence Reaver, Static Shiv into Infinity Edge. Gives you a lot of wave clear. Gives you some fantastic burst damage heading into team fights. Not to mention the fact that you get a lot of utility out of Sivir still, so you want to be able to use the Donkey Whistle a little bit more often with that 30% cooldown reduction.
Oh boy. But the double Static Shiv changes have definitely helped her out. I'll talk about that a bit later because Direwolves are pressuring this mid lane out of turret. Package on Fantix with Shermfire waiting in Fog of War.
Yeah, I mean, if they get both outers here.
And they do go in. Claire in so much trouble. Throws out the ultimate. Not enough damage to take down Fantix. And teleports coming into the mid lane as well. They tag up Carbon. Throws out the ultimate. He tries to run back towards his turret, but he gets taken out. Shermfire almost gets popped into little bloblets. A Legacy now running for the hills. Ultimate thrown out by Destiny. Chippy splashes forward. Brawl passive going to connect. Invulnerability will come out for Cupcake, but he eventually is going to fall to the Wolfpack. 4-1 in kills.
Yeah, and this is absolutely massive for the Direwolves because they've turned it on at the right time. All of a sudden, they've knocked down 2 outer turrets. They're 3,500 gold up, and they're looking towards the Earth Dragon. And with this comp that scales so well, we've already talked about Nars scaling. Zac obviously is just going to be a fat tank. Corki and Sivir, they have some of the highest late game damage coming out of their carries and enough protection to be able to get it done. So Direwolves really look to be in control of this game now.
They certainly do. Shermfire off the back of that gank, looking good now. We've got close to 4,000 lead in favor of the Direwolves. They should be able to be a bit more aggressive heading into this mid game.
And I mean, this nullifying lane, we said that Caitlyn Janna has to be able to get through lane. Sivir does it in a completely different way by just wave clearing and, you know, being frustrating. And it has suited King and Destiny much more. This looks like the King and Destiny, I mean, duo from finals that now can look towards taking over team fights and really be threatening around Summoner's Rift.
Legacy have gotten the jump on this lane swap, so Lost will deal a lot of damage to the turret. Has Carbon in his back pocket as well, about to be picked up by Braum as well as King. Good damage coming out from them. They clear out the wave effectively as well.
Yeah, and I mean, that was potentially a turret dive. Carbon had Body Slam as well as the ultimate available. They had all of the members there that they needed to be able to execute on that one. Instead, they don't pull the trigger. Maybe a little bit hesitant Fish because they've been losing out on this mid-game quite heavily. And now, look at Sivir. I mean, she's just going to hold it all off the turret. She's going to clear it all out. Potentially caught out Fantix here.
Ultimate knocking him back straight away, but no stun coming out. Shermfire tries to jump in. Does get the first rubber hand. Smacks him into a scrying orb. Carbon taking a lot of damage. Good stun from Claire. Stops the jump from Destiny, but Fantix, relentless in damage, will be able to knock back Shermfire. He's now on the flank
Will be Clinton gets knocked out as well. Very low. Carbon taken down first. Destiny jumps out of the fight. Fantix snipes him with the final rocket. He's going to take some damage from Lost here, who is invulnerable at the moment, trying to fight a 2-on-4. Double stun coming out of Cupcake. Shermfire taking a lot of damage. This whole time, though, Chippies is just split pushing like an absolute monster.
Here comes the Maokai ultimate, though, Fish.
Guns in, flashes forward, gets a root, gets a single kill. Destiny and Fantix now very low, but they kill Lost. Fantix has killed Lost. He's gone for Cupcake as well. Gets a double kill. They're trying to kill Tally on top of that. Red buff is ticking. The Sapling's looking for a touchdown. Gets some damage, not enough. Tally forced to run for the heals. That Winner's Might so close from connecting. Big fight for the Wolfpack.
And that was a 4v5, and they managed to only get Shern. Everyone else from the Direwolves plays it to perfection. Chippies, he just stays at home. He's split pushing to the ends of the earth. He's going to grab 2 turrets for it, and this is going to nearly be an 8,000 gold lead for the Direwolves lineup.
This game has changed drastically after the big brawls we had in game number 1. Direwolves play a patient game in game number 2. And they're just so far ahead. 8-2 in kills, 4-0 in turrets.
And let's have a look at this. I mean, this is a 4v3 as Sivir is a little bit late. You can see the stun does come out. However, Lost doesn't feel like he can get access. And Claire gets chunked out so much that he no longer has a place to play in this team fight. Big stun comes out. The Fantix, he dips over, able to clean it up. And for a minute here, you hope. You think that the Legacy duo lane is going to be able to pull off another miracle. But Shern's just so damn tanky, and the long-range damage is always going to be there. And Tally, unfortunately, whilst he is pretty tanky at this stage of the game, isn't going to be able to offer all that much damage, and Lost jumps into his death.
It jumps on top of the ultimate thrown out by Destiny. Double kill for Fantix. They don't end up taking down Tally, who was looking for more kills himself. But this game has changed so much. Legacy now definitely on the back foot, and Direwolves want to try and equalize the scoreline to 1-1. Let's see if there's any way for Legacy to try and find their footing back in this match. 7,000 gold behind the Wolfpack. And Chippies is a split-pushing monster.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the 2 big items going towards Oranguans, of course, because we're going to see double Zeal item once again come out.
Engaged from Shermfire, forces the rocket jump from Lost. Early ultimate from Cupcake. Will it keep Carbon alive? It does, but they're so low. Here comes Maokai looking to try and stop the initiation from the Wolfpack. Chippies has joined the fight as well. Ultimate from Braum doesn't connect, and Chippies is still chasing forward for this.
So Carbon smites the red buff Fish. It is important to note because this could potentially be the Baron. Now they've caught out Destiny, however.
Let's see if they have enough damage to take him down quick enough. They throw red buff at him and they get the kill, but Shermfire, can he deliver? Lost picks him up, delivers him to Chippies, will smack him down for a kill. Fantix gets a big package into the back lines as well. Double kill with the Gnar coming out. Ace picked up by the Direwolves.
And what a massive fight out of the Direwolves. Shern finally gets the ult that he was looking for, forces Claire to flash, actually gets Lost, and that's going to be Baron. And they don't even need their AD carry. I mean, King is playing Farm Simulator. 006 has not yet got his license to kill, but is allowed to knock down these turrets. And with Chippy still on the Baron, it's going to fall anyway.
Yep. Baron picked up by the Direwolves. They're now 11,000 gold ahead of Legacy after 20 minutes of absolutely nothing.
Yeah, 20 minutes of nothing. Now we've had 5 minutes of massive amounts of action. And we're still getting too close towards that kill a minute. They catch out Destiny here. It's a good pick. However, look at Shern. Shern gets onto both carries. Good ulti. Claire has to flash, but that allows Fantix to 1v1 him on the backline. Of course, with that Hex Drinker, Corki going to be able to do that. And Lost gets blown up instantly, meaning only the tank of Tally is left. And as a tank, you're not going to be able to do all of that much Fish against all of the threats from the Direwolves lineup.
If you're Legacy right now, you'd have to be thinking towards game number 3 after being this far behind. It's near impossible to try and come back from this. Chippies has 3 complete items. Double health stacking offensive items with Randuin's Omen.
Yep.
Very devastating. Even Fantix now with the Hex Drinker complete. He's got Infinity Edge as well as the makings of a Static Shiv or Rapid Fire Cannon. And they just look unstoppable. Claire not having a good game here. He hasn't looked shaky, but so much attention was thrown his way by the Direwolves.
Probably not the person you're looking for a pick.
Oh, they threw out the ultimate from Claire as well, and Shermfire lives through everything that Legacy throws his way.
Yeah, and Shern will take that. I mean, they're going to go towards top lane turret. Don't know if his passive is available, but you have to think that it is. So unless they can hard engage on, you know, Chippies in the mid lane or something like that, Fish, top lane outer is just going to fall down, and the Direwolves are just going to continue this slow, inevitable grind of the outers. That means that it's only the base of Legacy now left remaining.
Yep.
13,000 gold in a hole. No Claire ultimate. I don't know if there's a way for you to stop this.
Top inner falls, now sieging top lane inhibitor turrets. Chippies is pushing into mid lane, completely ignoring Tally at the moment. Even bottom lane inhibitor turret has taken some damage to kick things off. And it's Chippies that's a real threat at the moment. That mid lane inhibitor is already at half health from the Gnar.
Yeah, exactly right, because there's just nothing Tally can do to stop him. So Tally's going to go back to base. He's probably going to get home guards out and maybe go for a Righteous Glory engage. But Legacy are just bleeding, and there is nothing they can do to stop it.
Yep, they've got to try and force a fight here against Direwolves, or they'll slowly bleed out. Baron buff still well and truly online for the Wolfpack. So they go into the mid lane. Body Bop comes through. Double knockback coming out of Schönfire. And the tanks of Legacy bleed even more. Chippies diving into the back lines of the base. Inhibitor turret in the mid lane broken. Lost even takes some damage as well. Schönfire's already forcing, pulls back clear, jumped on by Chippy, so much damage coming out, and Fantix picks up his 8th kill, make it 9 as he gets the double. Gnar into the wall, almost single-handedly kills Lost. King flashes into the backlines, taking turrets, presence, and everything, and he's still going toe-to-toe against the man himself. The boss has been exhausted, getting dove by the rest of the team, but everyone from Legacy has fallen. Tally will fall, King has picked up an inhibitor, and Direwolves are pushing for the win.
This is a statement game out of the Direwolves. They are absolutely smashing the Legacy lineup after a one-sided game 1. Direwolves hit back and will pick up game 2.
They do, and the Nexus will finally fall, bringing this to a 1-1. They take the fight to Legacy. They want to show them who will be top of the table if they can pick up game 3.
And I mean, that has to feel good if you were the Direwolves. It was a strange game 1 performance out of them. They were late across the map a couple of times, Fish, and they just got worried out of it. But this game, much more controlled. They stay in their lanes, as Juve said. Just stay in your lanes, farm up, get to the mid game that you're known for, and they take over.
They certainly do. Now, the question is, do Legacy have something up their sleeve to deal with this from the Direwolves? Because we know Fantix as well as Chippy's great solo laners. King and Destiny can't be exploited in that matchup in the bottom lane.
I mean, rule number 1, I think you ban Sivir. You get rid of the nullifying AD carry because they just couldn't get any aggression down there time and time again. They looked to pick on King and it just didn't work. I think that they played that game way too slow throughout the mid game. I think that if you're the Legacy lineup, you want more action on Summoner's Rift than what you were able to get. And it just was, honestly, it was a nothing early game into a commanding Direwolves mid and late.
Yeah, Direwolves took over that mid game fantastically, snowboarded into a late game victory. Like we said, it was 20 minutes of absolutely nothing and 5 minutes of action that dictated how that game was going to go. For now, though, before we get into the final match of the night, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Spawn and Fish. Legacy and Direwolves have tied up the series 1-1, and much better out of Direwolves this time around.
Yeah, it was actually like a really exciting game. After the 15-minute mark, I think.
The first 20 minutes.
First one was like
once Red Terrible was gone. Yeah, it's a very exciting game.
First, like the start of it was boring as, but you know, it was pretty good League of Legends from both teams. And then Direwolves just put the foot on the pedal and they took it.
Yeah, I think Schön exerted a lot of pressure on that map that game. He kind of helped his Corki through like the early phase of the game where Corki's probably not the best into Syndra. Got Corki to the Trinity Force power spike, went top lane, force pressure top, went bot lane, like pretty much. Even though the lane was nullified bot lane already, he just made sure of it. And he was just around everywhere actually, putting pressure on Carbon in a matchup where I don't know, Zach's not really renowned for his counter jungling.
Yeah, no, but like obviously, like we've seen that champion banned so much. It slipped through the draft. Obviously, Legacy thought they had the answer to it and clearly didn't. So maybe revising it heading into game 3, we'll see if that changes.
I just want to shout Spawn out real quick. I don't know what he's talking about Zach Holtz. He probably didn't see me play last week. My Zach was clean, al dente.
See you Sunday.
And the meme has been that you can't play Zach, but suddenly you pull it out. Look, anyway.
I'm the best Zach in the world. Don't worry about it.
All right, well, let's talk about some people who actually played in this game then. And I want to talk about Fantix, because this is 5 games in a row, Jish, where he has picked up that Corki.
Really good Corki player. Like, actually really good. Obviously on his package timing here, and as Juve mentioned, Schönfire in his back pocket. Really clean dive, just to dive him into his inner mid. And Chippies is there to help out too. Destiny's roamed across, King's in the back line here. Chippies obviously TP'd in, as I said. And they just, they bide their time a little bit. Obviously, 20 minutes without any action is really quite like frustrating for players. But, they found like their window and they pulled the trigger and it worked really well for them.
It just definitely feels like Direwolves take one game to warm up. It's actually just insane how they just like lose this one game and then they're just like, I'm here to play League of Legends today. And then they just fire up.
Guys, why are we here?
Yeah.
Why are we here? What probably happens is Fantix goes to the bathroom and then sees it in the mirror and he's like, guys, don't worry, I've seen this in the mirror. We come back and we win this, right?
The mirror joke's still funny.
I don't know. I feel like Blinky
You're going to
used
question
it.
me on the desk live on television?
I'm about to get
Brutal.
cut.
A brutal roasting here.
I feel like once Blinky took it off me, it was a done meme.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Moving
Yeah.
on. Do something else funny now.
Sorry. Look, I'd like to apologise to you guys and also the viewers at home for mentioning the Mirror Jack. I won't do it again. All right, moving on to replay number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, well, here's my thoughts on it, all right? If you're Legacy, though, and Chibi's is split pushing, your win condition then is winning those team fights, Juice. Yeah?
Yeah, that's true. So they knew that they couldn't match the split push of Nara in the bot lane. So they just tried to force. It was a little bit mis-executed. And you can see nice slingshot from Schönfire. Cleared plays it as well as he can to get him off. And it's really an extended fight. It's actually so extended that Maokai, with no teleport, gets to run from bottom lane through to mid lane to join the fight. So it's well played by both teams. It's like Legacy's kiting that out really well. Schönfire is tanking for his team well. Everyone's doing damage. Tarikot negates a lot of the damage. And then Maokai finally makes it, flashes in. This is where you think, okay, like Legacy are going to win this fight. This is game on. And then Claire just gets one shot by the Fantix Corki that we've seen 5 games in a row. Nothing wrong with it, though.
King in the back of that fight is already halfway to top lane. He's like, oh, this one's done, boys. I'm out. And then Venti's like, no, come back. We can win. So, yeah, that was funny to watch. Like, he literally gave up on his mid laner. And then, he's like, hey, I played the champion 5 times now. I'm pretty good at Corki.
Comms were probably like, Tally's like, yeah, guys, I'm in the bot lane, no TP. Oh, I'm coming, guys. And then the tree's just running from bot lane. No, like in slow-mo.
So why are we seeing this Maokai picked up so frequently in there now? I know there's a lot of patch changes, a lot of tank meta, but like in specific, why are people picking up Maokai so heavily now? It's just real good.
Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, Maokai has always been like a really good pick. He just has reliable CC where you can just like W onto a target, knock them back. And his ultimate was kind of seen as a thing that was really useless, but as time went on, people kind of like, they buffed it as well, obviously, but time went on, people worked out how to play with it. And now it's like seen to be actually a really good ultimate. Like it can completely zone team fights. And the beauty about Maokai and the beauty about this meta right now is picks that are really prevalent are ones that can be flexed. Maokai can flex from top to jungle. Gragas can flex from top to jungle. In this game in particular, I probably would have liked to have seen Gragas top though, just because it has a little bit of a better time into Nah. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think that's definitely the name of the game right now. Is champions that you can protect from matchups or put into better jungle matchups and things like that is why we have seen this change in obviously the tank meta now. And I think that maybe not like the best matchup to put Maokai into Nah, but actually I don't think it's that oppressive. And I think that what we saw was that you have like a really slow game and Nah has like turret pressure on you. And then if you can scale into the game, you do have teamfight presence. Obviously it didn't work out for Legacy this game. But yeah, no, definitely a very solid pick just because you can move in between top and jungle.
Well, going into this game, we did talk about that mid lane matchup. We did talk about Claire playing into Corki, into Fantix. And when you look at these stats from today's game 2 of this series, I mean, Fantix really popping off on that Corki there.
Yeah, he must have heard the death segment and said that Claire had the edge, and that he wants to take the crown back that I think Spawn gave him. But no, yeah, Fantix had a pretty good performance on Corki, I think we can all say. Obviously, had the favorable matchup once he gets that Hex Drinker, so I think that it's not that hard. I don't think he fumbled his cleanse a few times, which I think concerned me, but obviously, no, definitely played well and probably the MVP for that game.
Yeah, just I guess 2 things about that matchup is like Syndra has a really good time early. Then once Corki gets the Hex Drinker, it's pretty much Corki favored, I would say. Like there's no real kill threat from Syndra anymore, unless Syndra wants to rush like an early Void, but then she doesn't have the AP to one-shot Corki. And then combined with the pressure that Schönfire put mid, I think like that duo, Schönfire, Fantix, really stepped up this game.
So why aren't people banning Fantix's Corki? Is it because his Kassadin's better?
I mean, Corki has never really hit that peak of like a ban-worthy champion, I guess, for the most part. Obviously, there are a few good times, to ban him, and there are a few champion players who make this champion look phenomenal. Fantix is probably one of them.
He did more than double anyone else's damage. Oh, except Nah.
The thing about Corki is that there's actually a lot of counters out there for him. You can play Cassiopeia into Corki and have a really good lane, which Claire is very good at. You can play Zed into Corki, which is historically like a very big counter towards Corki. And Claire, again, has shown, and lethality changes, that he's very good at Zed. So if I'm Legacy, I'm going to think, okay, like it's probably a good chance that they're going to play Corki again. What do we have prepared to kind of counter this Corki pick?
Yeah, the only difficulty, I think, is that once you pick like the AP top laner, the AP jungler, they've gone back for that AP mid laner as well. Itemization is really hard, so I think Zed really could have been a good pick. Even Lucian mid, I think, has like a decent matchup to Corki. You can kill him early and things like that.
Claire also loves a Lucian mid.
He really good Lucian.
Does he does look? Yeah, in Legacy, that's how you get on Legacy. You got to play Lucian. That's how you get on Legacy. That's the. Anyway, let's take a look
love
at
to see Cupcakes Lucian.
support Lucian
Or Carbons. I want to see Carbons Lucian.
Yes.
I
All right.
don't.
Speaking of Carbon, let's take a look at the jungle matchup, shall we? Shern v Carbon, and in that game, Shern obviously got the better of Carbon, but Carbon in this tank meta, you know, the old hands don't need APM to play a tank.
No, you don't. You just need a brain. And I don't know. Like, I think this game, like, Shern just completely like outpathed Carbon and played like really well. Just controlled River, not controlled his jungle, but he put pressure on Gragas in the jungle. And like Zach, I think scales really well compared to like most tank junglers, and so does Gragas. But the way I look at it is like Direwolves made it past the volatile state of the game. They had, like, in my opinion, better scaling in that game. Like, Syndra gets outscaled by Hex Drinkers, by MR, whereas, like, Corki is always going to, like, ramp up Power Spike. Zach's always going to, like, do better in team fights than Gragas, in my opinion. And I think Shern just allowed his team to get to that point in the game.
Yeah, and he played really well off his laners as well. And I don't think that can be said enough. You know, like that first red buff respawn at 7 minutes or something. He had Chippies pushing in Aznar to the top turret, and he's walked into Carbon's jungle. He has Corki floating up towards the Wraith pit or Raptor pit as well. And he just like took it clean from under Carbon's nose. If I can get words out, that'd be awesome. But otherwise, yeah, no, he had a really good early game, and you know it was slow, but it was definitely methodical. And I think that's he was a large part to their victory.
As a fellow jungler, it was hard to watch. Seeing Shernfire sit in that red buff bush, and you just knew like what was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was like just the death that was coming that Carbon couldn't see.
It's like watching a horror film.
Yeah, and I was just sitting there and I was just like closing my eyes, like I don't really want to see this right now because like I have a game to play on Sunday.
You want to get triggered. All right. Well, your tweets are coming in on #IamOPL, and this first one, it comes from LukeCon2. Are there any top laners in this meta that are going under the radar, or any that you believe we will see in the next few weeks? Well, let's say for the next week, because I'm going to change patches after that. But obviously, you guys are playing on Sunday, so what are you guys going to play?
What are you guys going to play?
What are you guys gonna? I definitely like. I could see some players actually pulling out a Kayn. Like, I'm not saying it's
Kayn top.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's the best top laner, but there has been evidence of a few players playing Kayn top in solo queue.
I play Kayn top in solo queue. That's not evidence of other players playing it.
Zeratul?
I think
Reyes, sorry.
I mean, he didn't.
Anyway, my point is that I think Reyes now you're fumbling me. I think Kayn could have certain matchups where it's fine to pick Kayn, and then like if he gets to evolve early into the red form, I think that could be a thing. I'm not saying it's a good pick in top lane. I think there could be certain matchups where you could see Kayn.
I've been texting and tweeting people about Kayn last week or so, and my phone autocorrects it to Kanye. And it just it makes every tweet a delight, an absolute delight. Yeah. I'm playing Kanye in jungle. I'm playing red form. Kanye's popping off.
The funny thing about that is you could fix it. You could fix your error. But you see Kanye and you're like,
yeah,
my boy.
Yeah. All of the lights. All right, a second tweet coming on #IamOPL is thoughts on Teemo top at Sinjubes. Is Teemo a good top laner? And I will say that comes from the head of Right O's.
That is my man's
pick your words carefully.
Master Murkinen.
Yeah.
My man's. No, I don't have thoughts on Teemo top because I feel like Teemo shouldn't exist in the game. I feel like it has next to zero good matchups because if you are in a favorable matchup and you're pushing them under tower and you're harassing them, if that Teemo does not get ganked 5 times before level 6, replace your jungler, fire him. I don't know what you need to do. Send him to another video game. I don't know.
Send him to another. He's to be banished.
Yeah.
I will say that that in my experience, in my very limited experience in this game, anyone who plays Teemo is a coward. I'll say it right now because he goes invisible.
Ambitious claim.
What? Are you getting fired after this segment?
As if Teemo is like the most cowardly champ to play.
I think it's pretty manly playing Teemo. Like
in what way?
You're leaving yourself open to being ganked. You're leaving yourself open for the elements to come and attack you.
You're literally asking to play the game like 1v3 because you're like the mid laner wants to go to your lane as well. So I don't think it's cowardly.
Teemo puts a radar on your forehead.
Maybe we should probably start
playing
playing.
Teemo.
Oh, yeah,
I'm playing Teemo.
I'm first picking it.
You know what? On Sunday, game 1, me Teemo. Game 2, Spooks Teemo. Deal.
Teemo jungle. We were asking about Teemo top, but Teemo jungle viable. All right, let's get back to these games, shall we? Because we are about to get into our third game of the day. Does anyone want to switch their predictions from
game 1. No?
No, I'm going to stick with Direwolves. I think that, you know, like they maybe are the 3-game team. They needed that warm-up game. They looked a lot better game 2. I think, you know, should they draft again as well, I think they'll be fine.
I think that Legacy can go back, see that game, and I think they'll fix their draft. I think they'll probably get a better pick mid into the Corki. They might give Carbon kind of a favourable jungle matchup again, and I definitely could see like this game actually in particular just being won around that jungle mid.
All right, so no one deciding to flip-flop. Well, that is our analysis of our second game. The series is tied up 1-1, but do not go anywhere because after these hearts, we'll be back with game number 3.
Finally, someone's fighting Claire, going to flash away. Good damage on the Fantix, but First Blood's finally been picked up. Carbon throws out the ultimate, doesn't connect, but Fantix has no way to get out of this one, and Tally gets a kill for himself. Guns in, flashes forward, gets a root, gets a single kill. Destiny and Fantix now very low, but they kill Lost! Fantix has killed Lost! He's gone for Cupcake as well! Gets a double kill! They're trying to kill Tally on top of that. Red buff is ticking. The Sapling's looking for a touchdown, gets some damage, not enough. Tally forced to run for the heals. That Winner's Might so close from connecting. Big fight for the Wolfpack. And they throw red buff at him and they get the kill, but Shermfire, can he deliver? Lost, picks him up, delivers him to Chippies, will smack him down for a kill. Fantix gets a big package into the back lines as well. Double kill with the Gnar coming out. Ace picked up by the Direwolves. And Shermfire's already forcing, pulls back clear, jumped on by Chippies, so much damage coming out, and Fantix picks up his 8th kill. Make it 9 as he gets the double. Gnar to the wall, almost single-handedly kills Lost. King flashes into the back lines, taking turrets, presence, and everything, and he's still going toe-to-toe against the man himself. The boss has been exhausted, doing the Nexus will finally fall, bringing this to a 1-1. They take the fight to Legacy. They want to show them who will be top of the table if they can pick up game 3.